Live broadcast. Yes, and today we're talking about something that's very, very close to my heart. Do you know what it is? Worms. Worms. Oh man, if only you knew how great worms were. Oh man, you'd pay rapt attention to this. Worms, right? They're not only man's best friend, right? Worms are a septic tank's best friend. Yes, that's right. Worms are amazing. Do you know what? Worms have been around for thousands and thousands of years, breaking down waste and matter into safe, clean, organic fertilizer that feeds the planet. Worms are amazing. Eventually we even get eaten by worms. So I just wanted to show you, right, in today's live broadcast, the power of worms, right? Have a look at this, right? Let me see if I can find my board rubber somewhere. Okay, here's my board rubber. Right, okay. So let me show you, if you're a septic tank owner or you're a dog owner, I'm going to show you how worms, right, can save you thousands and thousands of pounds. I'm going to show you how you can use worms to your advantage, right? Okay, so have a look at this. Okay, so if I just rub all this out, right? All right, so let me show you how worms can really help you. Have a look at this, right? So first of all, let me show you this, right? So here, this is a septic tank, all right? And as you know, can you see that on the screen here? I know it's a bit wonky, but let's just do that again. Hold on. Let's do it a bit straighter. Hold on. Oh, I don't know how much straighter that is. Is that a bit straighter? Well, you get the point, don't you? All right, so a septic tank will fill up, right? Septic tanks fill up with poo and wee and all kinds of other nasty bits of fat, grease, and the sludge, right? And a lot of the fat and the grease builds up on the bottom of the septic tank here, just like so, right? Okay. So over time, the fat, grease, and sludge builds up on the bottom of the septic tank. So if I put there, look, fat, grease, and sludge. All right. All right, there we go. There's fat, grease, and sludge. They're building up at the bottom of your septic tank, right? And it's not only that, there's something else called suspended solids. In the tank, you've got all these bits and bobs of horrible stuff. I mean, look, you go to the loo and you flush the loo because you want to get rid of stuff forever, right? All right, but it ends up in your tank. And all these little bits float around in your septic tank. It's true, but what I'm about to show you, okay, so don't let this put you off your dinner or anything. I'm about to show you something really, really, really good, right? That will turn your septic tank into an organic composter. Have a look at this, right? All right, so these things, right? So all these bits are called suspended solids. All right. And they're the reason why you have to get your septic tank emptied every year, because all these solids, if you're not careful, so if I put here, if this is, imagine this is the inlet pipe coming in, and if I put on there, that's the outlet pipe going out, right? So, all right, so there you go. So what happens is over time, all the fats and the grease and the sludge build up inside your septic tank. And not only do they block up the septic tank, but they also make their way, right? All these suspended solids go into your Soakaway. Now, the Soakaway, if I put Soakaway there, look, Soakaway, there we go. No? Now, the Soakaway is the most important part of your septic tank. It really is. Because if you imagine, where does all your water go? If you think about it, where does all your bath water go? Where's all your dishwasher water go? Where's your sink water go? Where's your toilet water go? Yes, it goes into there, but then it soaks away into your Soakaway. But what fat, grease, and sludge do is that they block soakaways and septic tanks up. So you've only got 3 normal ways in which to get rid of all that fat, grease, and the sludge. You can get the septic tank emptying man in. He'll come in, he'll charge you 200 quid, and he'll suck all that out of your tank. But then the next day after that, and the day after that, it all starts to fill up with poo and wee and sludge and horrible things again, right? So it's a very, very, very temporary solution, right? Option number 2, occasionally you can get your lines or your pipes jetted, right? Jetted with high-powered water. Do you know what I mean by that? Well, let me show you. This is what a jet looks like. It looks like that, and it's got a knob on like that, and it's got a thing there, and it fires really high-powered water down your soakaway pipes, but that won't clean your soakaway out, because what happens is when you fire high-powered water down your soakaway, it compresses all the fat and the grease and the sludge. So those are common ways in which people try and keep their septic tank and soakaway pipes clean, but they just cost you money and they do more harm than good. So this is where, look, here we go, look at this, right? So this is where, right, worms come in. Now that's a worm, right? You probably guessed that, so I'm just going to put worm here, look. Worm, right? There you go. And if I just show you this, right? So can you see that worm on the? I love worms, right? I really, really love worms, right? When I used to live in Shropshire, right? When I was about, oh man, I can remember when I was about 5, 6 or 7, I used to sneak down to the bottom of the garden. Down the bottom of the garden was like a cast iron lid, and I'd lift the lid up and I'd kind of look inside it. Oh man, it'd be like something out of Indiana Jones. It'd been swarming with all these worms in there. And shut the lid again, and it'd give me nightmares and stuff. But listen, as I got older, I realised that those worms that lived in there kept the septic tank clean. They ate all the fat and the grease and the sludge. I'm not kidding you. They're amazing, right? And so, literally 3 or 4 years ago, my dad said to me, why don't you start selling worms for people to put in their septic tanks, because they'll eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge. You know, this is the main reason. All this fat and the grease and the sludge causes 100% of septic tank problems. If I just get that out and put problems there, look. Right. Worms prevent and fix problems. Fat, grease and sludge cause 100% of septic tank problems. Now, what do I mean by soakaway worms? Well, have a quick look at this, right? Have a quick look at this. Let me just show you this, right? So bear with me. I'm still here. Hold on. Where are we? There we go. If I just share the screen with you here, look. There you go. Oh, can you see that? So this is what I'm talking about. Now, let me open that. Oh. Right, so that's the worms I'm talking about. They're called, I'm going to show you a little bit more about those in a minute, but they're amazing. So what happens is you get a bucket. I've got a bucket over there, but I have to can't be bothered to get it. But look, you get a bucket of these worms, which I'll show you about in a minute, and you just literally take the lid off your septic tank and you tip these worms into your tank. All right, so you get a bucket of these worms, right, and the worms go into the septic tank just like so, and they live in there, and they fall to the bottom, and they make their way into the fat and the grease and the sludge, and they just eat everything. They pick it clean. If you think about it, like I said before, worms even eat us when we're dead and buried. Like they're the cleaners of the earth. You know, you got trees and you got vegetation, which are the lungs of the earth. Well, if you think about worms, right, they're the cleaners of the earth. They clean everything, right? I'm going to put there, look, cleaners of the earth. And they eat everything that's disgusting and horrible. Them and maggots just eat everything, and they pick it clean. So what they do, they live in the tank, right, and they eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge. So all this fat and the grease and the suspended solids, they eat it all. They clean up the septic tank. So what that means is, if you imagine this, if you haven't got any fat and grease and sludge in your septic tank, you don't need to get it emptied, right? So, oh man, people email me saying, oh mate, you've saved me 400 quid a year on emptying costs and stuff like that. So you'll always get some deposits, right? So then your poo and your wee and your fat and your grease and the sludge will still come in, right? It'll still come in through here, look. So you get all that, and it will still pour into and float on top and all that. But the worms actually live in the tank. And it's, some people say to me, oh, you know, I've heard that worms drown. They don't drown. Worms do not drown in liquid where there's oxygen present. So, for example, if you imagine you've got a stagnant pond, right? And everything dies in a stagnant pond. The frogs die, you know, the lilies die, everything dies, right? The boatmen, you know, these little boatmen that skip on the water, everything dies in a stagnant pond that it stinks because there's no water going in and there's no water going out. Well, in a septic tank, it's like a river. It's like a little waterfall. Like, you got all your water that comes in. So here's all the oxygen, or everything that you pour in from your house, right? That's your inlet, and then the water, right? You get a relative displacement in here, and then the rest of the water makes its way down into the soakaway. So it's constantly being oxygenated. If that's a word, I'm pretty sure it's a word, or it's very close anyway, right? So it puts oxygen back in the water, right? And so that keeps the worms alive. So worms don't drown in water. I've seen it. You know, I've sell thousands of these worms to people, and the testimony is they email me saying, oh, Jason, the worms are amazing, mate, and then their neighbors buy worms off me, and then so worms, right, are the cleaners of the earth. So I'm just showing you this because it's a really inexpensive way in which you can keep your septic tank serviced and maintained without having to spend 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 quid a year on emptying costs, right? And what's more than that, all these worms will then make it their way into your soakaway. Now, the soakaway is probably the most vulnerable part of a septic tank system, because in a soakaway, it's made up of pipes and arteries. And just like, you imagine if I just ate junk food all the time. Imagine I just went to McDonald's all the time and ate loads of McDonald's and went to flipping Chinese and ate loads of Chinese. My cholesterol would go and it blocks up my arteries, right? And so, you know, it causes heart attacks and I die and all that, you know. But so then you have to take beta blockers and you have to take aspirin to thin your blood and all that kind of stuff. Well, imagine, right? That's exactly what happens to soakaway pipes. After a while, all the fat and the grease and the sludge and the debris block all the arteries up, and that's why soakaways only have a lifespan of about 15 years. But, right, put some worms in there, and yes, they'll live in the tank. They'll go to the bottom. They'll eat all the suspended solids, but then they make their way into the soakaway, and they eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge. They probably add like another flipping 50, 60, 70 years to the life of your soakaway. So whilst fat, grease, and sludge cause 100% of problems, worms, soakaway worms, in fact, let me put it there. Let me put this here, right? I don't know if I got enough space on there. Soakaway worms, right, are the cleaners. They're the ones that are going to look after your septic tank. So let me show you this, right? Let me quickly show you this. Come over here, have a look at this, right? So, if I go to here, look, if I show you this. All right, so here we go. Here's the soakaway worm. So let me show you this, right? So this is what the worms look like. This is what the worms look like, okay? And there you go. That's what they look like. That's a guy putting a bucket of the worms into the tank. They then fall into the tank. Look at that. There they are on top of the tank. And they make their way through the fat and the grease and the sludge there. And that's what they look after. So look, before and after. So if you'd like to prevent septic tank problems, if you'd like to fix your septic tank problems, maybe you've got a blocked soakaway, right? And you've been, I don't know, blimey, you've been quoting 3, 4, 5 grand to replace your soakaway. Please, 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 before you consider flaming replacing your soakaway, try using soakaway worms. They really, really do work. This isn't a sales pitch. I'm not making this broadcast because, you know, I want you to necessarily buy my stuff, but I'm just showing you an alternative way. You don't have to spend 3, 4, 5,000 quid replacing your soakaway. Worms are amazing. Do some research on soakaway worms. So there you go. That was my tip of the day. Worms are amazing, right? Not only are they the cleaners of the earth, right, but they're amazing. They're a septic tank's best friend. So listen, thank you very much for watching my live broadcast today. I'll be back tomorrow with some more tips to save you money, to fix your problems. And if you want to see more of me, then just go to Septic Tank TV. Just type that in Google and you'll see the Septic Tank TV channel. We're live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So listen, have a great one, and I'll speak to you soon. For more information, just click the link below this video or visit septictank.co.uk for free help and advice.